Let's go. Don't waste your life, man. I know a lot of people that are scared they gon' die. Couple of them thinking they'll be living in the sky. While I'm here living, man, I gotta ask why. What am I here for? I gotta figure out. Waste my life, no, I gotta make it count. If Christ is real, then what am I gonna do about everything in Luke 12:15? Out of 21, you really gotta go and check it out. Paul said if Christ ain't resurrected, we wasted our lives. But that implies that our life's built around Jesus being alive. And they gonna be trying to show the world why Christ is more than everything you'll ever try. Better than pretty women sitting and living to get a minute of any women, a minute you and mine. It ain't no lie, we created for. Out of the dust, he made us.
If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Benjamin. I study chemistry and economics at UQ. I think, well, I like trivia as well. I like Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift a lot. Yeah, so hi Taylor Swift if you're watching me. Yeah, I think I'm just here to talk about my life and how God has always been there in my life and how God has affected me and shaped me into the person that I am today. So I think first place to start is, well, as by the time that you've been watching, you would realize that, you know, by the look of my face, that I'm not from around here, and that's because I'm not from around here. It's like I'm from the Philippines. You know, I was born there. And I lived there for the first 13 years of my life. I think growing in such a place where Christianity is really common, the fact that my mum was a Christian, and from a young age she started talking and teaching me about God and about Jesus and how he sacrificed his life for us. So growing up, I've always had that Christian knowledge about and all those sorts of things. And but I think a lot of like my family history as well, because I didn't have a dad growing up. Like my mum was the only person that raised me when I was little. Like I've never met my dad. I've never seen my dad. Like pretty much I was just doing stuff like just by myself and making my own entertainment perhaps, and I really like really rare times where I was disciplined and stuff. I started doing like a lot of stupid stuff like when I was little. I think like one of them, like I started stealing at a young age, then lying about stealing as well, and then getting away with stealing. Like I got away with it for like a very long time, and before like my mum realized that I was doing these things like when I was like 10 or something. I've been doing them for like 4 or 5 years by that time, which is a bit sad. Think yeah, and then after stealing, like got really good at it, and I was like, you know, yeah, maybe I'll do something even like do something like more fun, because like I didn't get the fun out of stealing that I used to. So I went around and pretty much like scamming people out of money, pretty much. So using pretty much what God has given me, like a really good and really smart brain, and to my personal advantage, to my personal gain. Yeah, I just kept it hidden, like all the things that I did. I just kept that hidden and pretty much like never revealed it to pretty much anyone until like just a year ago, pretty much. I wasn't really like open about talking publicly about all the stuff that I did, and but I think like now this is just like a physical representation of that change that God has done in my life. And I think yeah, but at the same time, while doing all those things as well, I was that kid in primary school that did well in the academic side of things as well. So when I was in primary school, I was one of those people who were pretty much pulled into like a special curriculum where I had to study maths that was 3 or 4 years like higher than what people would normally learn. Just like really advanced stuff from what the actual like normal curriculum is, and I think like people saw a lot of potential in me, and a lot of that potential I wasted. I will admit. People saw potential in me and then put me to competitions, and yeah, thankfully enough, I won like a lot of medals in those competitions. And yes, and even though I didn't really like doing those competitions and didn't really try that hard very much, and still achieving like great results in those competitions just made me even think more that I am like that really good person, really like gifted person. And I was really into that thing where I was like, I thought that I was like the best person amongst pretty much everyone that I knew, and that's something that I've always pretty much just had in me, like the desire, that want to be like the best person in like in a crowd, to be that best person in pretty much among the people that I know of. Like I wanted to be better than everyone else. Like pretty much my image was more important than everything else, and so I never really got to like tell anyone about the real me, like the real Benjamin, because I was just like that really afraid of how like the perceptions of me will change because of that. And sometimes just thinking about it just really like hurts you mentally, because like it's really hard to pretty much balance two personas at once. It's like having like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, pretty much. So yeah, it got to that breaking point where pretty much I couldn't pretty much just hide it any longer. But by some sort of like, I don't even know what happened, but like my mum told me that that we are going to move to Australia, and that was pretty much just a really big sigh of relief for me. I think the fact that I can pretty much be at another place and pretty much restart life in another place. So yeah, when I got here, quickly realized that I still have to hide those secrets from people. Originally, like I thought, oh yeah, that like I could just be like a new person, but quickly realized that I still have to be pretty much still the old me, but and still have to hide that me, because went to like the first day of school, realized that the self-image was still really important for me. So you know, being pretty much like the only Asian in the entire cohort as well, considering it was a country school. Old Laidley High, still love you guys. Yeah, considering it was like a country school, so I was pretty much the only Asian in there. I think making sure that I was like a person that everyone loved, I think that was really important for me. So so yeah, because that self-image was still important, that social standing was still important, I adapted to a lot of what those people did in order to be like accepted, pretty much. So I was really like I acted like how they acted, pretty much. Went around and just like swearing their heads off, going around, and then I pretty much like making fun of everyone, like making sure that that people do know that you are like a cool guy. Like imagine your average high school cool guy. Yeah, so I mean, for the whole time in high school, I just pretty much just wasted the potential that people thought that I had as well. Like I knew that I could have been like an OP2, like OP1's impossible in Laidley, so yeah, it's a terrible school. So near the tail end of high school, started picking up drinking, started going to a lot of parties, just so that like I could have that, not just to conform to people's and what they do, but to pretty much just forget about my problems at the same time as well, like do the proverbial drowning of problems. That alcohol problem stayed with me like after high school, even after graduation, and pretty much just lingers around me pretty much to this day. But one thing that has changed though in uni has been the fact that I've had that more support, and the fact that I've been really been able to be open with people. So realized there was a Christian group, and being a Christian, I still counted myself as a Christian at that stage, even though like after all the things that I did and whatnot, I still counted myself as Christian. And so I pretty much knew the gospel, that I knew that like those 4 points, that I believed in those 4 points, but it was just something that I never made my own my entire life. So it was something that although my mum taught me, and although it was something that she wanted me to embrace, that I never embraced because of all the things that I did, and realizing that in order for me to build a bridge with God, which was something that I needed to have because of all the things that I did, in order to build a bridge and have that relationship with Him again, realizing that at the end of the day, like believing in Jesus is not enough, but the more important thing is realizing that He is Savior and that you want Him in your life, and realizing that the only thing that I lacked in my life was Jesus. Only you know what's going on inside, and the way to figure out if like you're heading down the right path is to just pretty much find it out yourself, and just have that long hard look in the mirror perhaps, and then thinking like if this is like the right path for you. And I certainly found the right path, and I'm really thankful that I did, that it wasn't too late for me to do so. Yeah. So yeah, don't waste your life, aka Lecrae.
So the devil just can't hang with us. Christian youth, them a stand with us. Living a driven, giving a vision, fulfilling the commission he handed us. London to Los Angeles, the rap evangelist. My daddy wouldn't abandon us. I got a backpack for the Jackson, I give a Johnny Max. So are you ready to jam with us? So let's go. Give me the word and let's go.